Look at this map. You've seen it 1,000 times in classrooms, on news reports, and on every Made in the USA sticker. 50 states. Solid, permanent, inevitable. But what if I told you that this map is a lie? Or at least it's just one version of the truth that managed to survive. Beneath the borders you know lies a graveyard of forgotten nations. Rebel states that declared independence, massive empires that almost swallowed the West, and secret partitions that would have turned the US into a fractured continent of 100 mini-countries. Today, we aren't looking at the history books they gave you in school. We're tearing them up. From the lost state that almost became the 14th colony to the Great Depression rebellion you've never heard of. This is why the US map almost looked completely different. Let's travel back to 1784. The American Revolution is over, but the chaos is just beginning. Imagine you live in the wild, rugged mountains of what is now eastern Tennessee. You feel abandoned. North Carolina, your mother state, treats you like a distant cousin they don't like. They don't protect you, and they don't build your roads. So what do? You secede. Enter John Sevier, a frontiersman with a dream. He leads a group of settlers to form the state of Franklin. They write a constitution, they elect a governor, and they even start taxing the locals in mink skins and whiskey. For 4 years, Franklin functioned as a sovereign nation. They had their own courts, their own treaties. They even petitioned Congress to become the 14th state. But they fell short by just 7 votes. North Carolina sent in the militia, arrested Sevier for treason, and the lost state of Franklin was swallowed back into the map. If those 7 votes had gone the other way, the entire political balance of the early U.S. would have shifted forever. Now, let's go west. Far west. In 1849, the map of the American frontier looked like a giant blank canvas, and one man wanted to paint it all one color. Brigham Young and the Mormon pioneers didn't just want a town, they wanted a theocratic empire. They called it Deseret. This wasn't just a state, it was a titan. Deseret would have been the largest state in the Union by far, including almost all of modern-day Utah and Nevada, plus huge chunks of Arizona, Colorado, and even a coastline in San Diego. Imagine a U.S. where one single religious state controlled the most strategic parts of the West. No Las Vegas as we know it, no Phoenix, just the massive unified power of Deseret. Why did it fail? Gold and the Civil War. The U.S. government was terrified of one state having that much land and power. They chopped Deseret into tiny pieces, creating the box states we see today. But for a few years, the state of the honeybee was a heartbeat away from reality. Fast forward to the 1930s. The Great Depression is crushing the soul of America. In the rugged borderlands between Wyoming, Montana, and South Dakota, people feel like the government has forgotten them. They didn't want a handout, they wanted out. They called it Absaroka, named after the local mountain range. This wasn't some historical footnote. This was a full-blown movement. They had license plates printed. They held Miss Absaroka beauty pageants. They even staged a mock invasion to get the media's attention. It was a state of mind born from pure frustration. They wanted to govern themselves away from the bureaucracy of the big cities. But as World War II loomed on the horizon, the dream of Absaroka died. Patriotism took over, and the rebels put their flags away to join the global fight. Even the giants we know today weren't supposed to look like this. Did you know that when Texas joined the Union, it was given the legal right to split itself into 5 separate states at any time? Imagine 10 Texas senators in D.C. instead of 2. The entire history of American politics would be unrecognizable. And then there's California. Since the 1850s, there have been over 200 attempts to break it apart. The most famous, the state of Jefferson. In 1941, residents of Northern California and Southern Oregon were so fed up with their state capitals that they started blocking highways with guns, declaring themselves a new state. They even had a flag with 2 X's, symbolizing being double-crossed by Salem and Sacramento. They were literally days away from a formal declaration, and then Pearl Harbor happened. History has a funny way of stopping revolutions. We look at our map and see borders drawn in stone stone, but history shows us they were actually drawn in sand. Every line on this map was paid for with a fight, a vote, or a lucky break. If Franklin had been the 14th state, if Deseret had reached the sea, or if Jefferson had seceded in 1941, you wouldn't be living in the America you know today. You'd be living in a collection of smaller rival nations. So, the next time you look at a map, don't just see the lines that are there. Look for the ghosts of the states that almost were. Which of these lost states do you think should have actually existed? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see the map of Europe that never was, hit that subscribe button.